call me naive, and maybe the definitions will change over the years, but I just think that music cannot be defined as notes, pitches in a mathematical sequence. That's kind of physically what it is, but the thing that makes music music is like the culture around it. And in a lot of societies, the definition of music would also include dance, for instance. That you can't pull apart music and dance. They're just the same thing. Or music and community. Like it's like in some cultures around the world, music isn't even necessarily really a thing. It's a thing that you do. It's not a thing that you listen to. It's not a thing that you talk about like this. It's just a thing. It's just a community activity. Music is an activity. And so I don't think that you can define music, and I don't think that you can call stuff that is just kind of notes on a page. I don't think you can really call that music unless your definition of it is incredibly broad. I think it's a very I do think it is a very blurry line between music and noise and sound. And that's not to say that noise and sound aren't enjoyable as well and can't be really cool, amazing things. I have a side project. It's a noise project that I'm not going to share. I do it just for fun. I do think, I do see the kind of musical element to those things, and I really love them, and that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is music inherently requires emotion and feeling and community and active participation, whether as a listener or a creator of the music or a collaborator. And therefore, I don't think that music can be stolen by AI. And that might be a really overly optimistic and naive thing to say, which I recognize, but I just don't think it's possible. I think AI can make pitches in a mathematical sequence and make stuff that resembles music that people might enjoy. But I don't think that music is ever going to get lost. And I think there's always going to be a place for musicians. And I think that place will be in community. And I think anyway, this concept of musician and audience is bullshit. And I don't think music is a privilege. It is at the moment in our current Western world. It is a privilege, but I don't think that it should be. I think it should be an inherent part, and has always been an inherent part of our human existence. And it's somehow, at least in the West, become something different, something monetizable, I guess. But when you go right the way back, I mean, I don't really know because I haven't done my research, but when you go right the way back, flutes made out of bone, before even drums, and clues that sound, before we could speak, before we had language, we had music, we had intonation, we had other ways to communicate. And so it's I think that music and language surely must have kind of evolved together. I don't know, I'm making this up, I don't know. But it's not necessarily... no, I think it is. I think it is a necessary thing in our human makeup. I believe that. I know that I'm biased because I'm a musician, but I think that it's in our human nature, whatever made us evolve. I read this in a book recently. Whatever it was that had us be able to learn how to harness and control and create fire and use that to our advantage. It's not like inherently, it's not an evolutionary thing. We didn't evolve to do fire. We learned how to do it. But we had the capacity to learn how to do it. And I think the same with music. No other species has evolved into music. We just kind of figured it out at some point. and it just became an inherent part of us and what we do, and an essential part of what we do. And I just don't think that can be taken by AI. I don't think it can be taken by a non-human thing, because I think music is inherently connected with active participation. And I suppose you could then make the argument that if AI generated music is listened to by a human, maybe that's what makes it music, is the participation of the listener. There could be an argument for that, I suppose. But I think the thing that makes music is there's like a strange, completely intangible thing in music, which is the thing that makes it so magical, in that there's feeling, and there's communication, and there's an energy, even in music that doesn't have words, doesn't have lyrics. There's something that is transmitted through it, something that can be felt through it, even though you can't see it. It like exists in this magical realm that we can't see, but we can hear and we can physically feel, because it's vibration, and more than that, there's something else happening in it that I don't know what to put my finger on. But whatever that thing is, I think it's safe. And I think that as the terrifying world of technology advances, I think the way that we make music has changed massively, and I think it will change again, and it will have to. I think it will have to go back to what it was meant for in the first place, that community aspect, that collaboration, the active participation in the making of music. And maybe that will be bad for those of us who make a living out of music, but I think we'll find other ways. Maybe it will be bad for like kind of celebrity culture, celebrity musicians, stage musicians, potentially. I think live music will always be a thing. But who knows? We don't know where AI is going to go. It changes and grows so rapidly, so quickly. But I strongly, strongly believe that the true form of music, whatever that is that we can't truly understand, we can't lose it. It's right there. And I think we're going to find it again in the West. You know, in many places it's still got it. And in the West, we've still got it. We've still got community musicians. We've still got football chants. We've still got, protest chants. We've still got music in us. And I think that there's going to be a real turn to taking it back and using it for what it was meant for in the early days. And that makes me feel a little bit better. That makes me feel like I can breathe out when I have my moments of panic about AI. So there we go. There's my ramble for the day. Thank you for listening if you're still here. Let me know what you think. But I think we're probably all right. I hope so.